Good morning, folks. Welcome to the First UU Church of Indiana, Pennsylvania. At this time, we ask if you're joining us online that you go ahead and mute your microphone until coffee hour. And please rise in body, voice, or spirit. And join me in singing our opening hymn, number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. Words are in your gray hymnal or on screen. Join me in singing our opening hymn, number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In.
Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
Good morning, and welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Indiana, Pennsylvania. I'm Nana Randall, President of the Board of Trustees. On behalf of the entire congregation, I welcome you here this morning, whether in person, on Zoom, or via YouTube. If you are here for the first time, welcome. Please take a moment to fill out a blue visitor's card. You can find one in your hymnal or in the entryway. This will help us to make sure you receive information about our church's programs and services. If you're joining us online, Send an email to office@firstuu-indianapa.org to become connected to our newsletter. On Zoom, please note the chat button below the video screen and use that feature for our greetings, chalice lighting, and for joys and concerns during the service. The First Unitarian Universalist Church of Indiana, Pennsylvania is a member congregation of the Unitarian Universalist Association. We are self-governing congregations united in a web of mutuality that creates our denomination. We have no creed or doctrine, teaching that all individuals have the right and the responsibility to discern and follow their own spiritual paths. We come together to support and assist each other on our journeys and to build our beloved community together. I invite you to stay after the service to greet one another and rejoice in our mutual presence. We will open up the microphones on Zoom for coffee hour, and folks here in person are welcome to greet those joining us electronically at that time as well. I would like to announce a special congregational meeting on Sunday, June 12th via Zoom. We have to do this remotely because several board members will be out of town and we need someone to lead, and it will have to be done remotely. There will be access to the Zoom meeting here in the congregation and in Grower Hall. This allows for greater social distancing if you desire it. The business to be addressed at the special congregational meeting will be the prospects of full-time ministry and the future of the Bonnet House. Please try to attend so that we can make quorum for decision-making. And now I invite you to take a gentle breath and settle yourself into a spirit of worship. Come, if you seek respite from the hardships of the world, come in to be at peace, to enter the circle of care. Even in rejoicing, if rejoicing feels still far from your grasp today. Come, you who have news to share. Come, you with sorrows too deep to excavate. Come, you who brim with grief, ready to overflow. And you who have been terrified this week. Whatever you are feeling, come. Bring your whole and broken hearts in this place. Enter, and even as you hold to your cares, know that here in this space, you may lay down your burdens and rest. Here we find blessing. Arise, all who come to this place, seeking comfort, care, and connection. Find this church ready for you to hold your cares, reawaken your hope, enliven love in your heart, and return you to yourself. Come and let us worship together. Where's the? Oh. Now, let us light our chalice flame. On Zoom, you may type, "The flame is lit," and say where you are joining us from in the chat bar. May the wonder, the laughter, the joy of our coming together relight our inner flames, oft quenched by hardship and tears in these trying times. May we light our chalice to remind us how we come back into this circle, into this love.
And today, as it's the first day and we're beginning our summer programming, can all those who will be attending summer programming, even if for a week or two, all those who plan or hope to help out with summer programming, join me. Just put your arms out, hold a hand if you'd like. Join me in a blessing for this exciting program, which Penny Vick Hendricks, our DRE, has been creating. These words come from Carrie Kopnick, a religious professional in the Pacific Northwest, and they speak to the eternal reality of church work. The things to do have been done well for the most part. The people we need are in place, almost. We are ready, or as ready as we will be. Bless this most perfectly imperfect beginning. May we find the right people to do the right things as we go. May we discover that what we needed was right here all along. And may we remember to stop and marvel at the magic of each moment as it floats by. May our summer be magical and wonderful for us all. And now Penny is going to tell us all a little bit about what that summer program will look like.
Good morning. Boy, has it been a year. Are y'all ready to have the last day of school if you haven't yet? Yeah. So I'm grateful the sun's out and I'm grateful that you're here. Tomorrow and Friday you have school? So this is the last time for all ages that we'll have until fall. So I just wanted to introduce you all because during the summer we get so busy and we need so much time that we want to have as much time as we can in the back. So this will be our last time until the fall. So all of the children and youth know that we have a summer theme. Does anybody know what it is? Anybody remember? Circus, right. So, and that's pretty much all they know. So the UU Big Top 7-ring circus will focus on our 7 principles throughout the summer. So I would like, this is little participatory efforts here. So I would like each of you, can you stand up, Brian? And go over there. So this is our first ring. Each person is important. And can you hold it and show it to the audience? There you go. Our second ring, be kind in all you do. Can you show? Yeah. Our third ring, we're free to learn together. Our fourth ring, we can search for what is true. Lucy. Our fifth ring, all people need a voice. You can stand over here, Phoebe, right here. You want to stand right there? Okay. And do you like this one? Our sixth ring, work for a fair and peaceful world. And our seventh ring, Nora, will you hold this one? We care for the earth, the home we share with all living things. So we will explore and learn through these 7 rings. Our summer UU circus will be filled with Harlan,
curiosity.
Inspiration.
Respectfulness, caring, just understanding, silliness,
Go ahead, go to get. You can sit here. So I hope that we won't disturb the services with so much laughter during this summer. Actually, I hope we do. We need some good belly laughs, right? Now, before we all go to our classrooms, which we'll do in just a minute, where we will find our clown, I would like you all to pass the peeps with some adults and other kids. Maybe you haven't met before, or maybe you haven't seen in a while. Go ahead and do that before we go back to our classrooms. Pass the piece. Thank you.
Will indeed be filled with joy and laughter and silliness. But I know that is not all that our world is filled with right now. I know many of us are thinking about Uvalde, Texas, about the mass shooting. I grew up in Colorado, as many of you know. And so each time there's a mass shooting, I remember being in my own school my sophomore year when they locked down all the doors, told us we weren't supposed to know anything in particular was going on, but that there had been a shooting at a high school just to the south of us, and we needed to wait in our classroom. And so we did for hours, quiet with the hum of the overhead lighting. Our worries bubbled beneath the surface of our skin, wondering if friends or acquaintances were still alive. I remember going home, not knowing if I would see all of my friends in church on Sunday. And even as I went back to school, even as I remembered how horrible it was, I had hope. I was assured that after such a shocking and terrible thing, that there would be change. And now it has been 23 years. And what has changed is not that there are fewer guns in the United States, not that it's significantly harder to get a firearm or to use it. In 23 years, we have learned how to mourn and lament, or not to be so bothered by the need, not to be so incapacitated by the adrenaline that rushes through our veins when children are in danger. And that response to teach children to hide, run, or fight is immoral. This is an immoral choice that we have made. Our Unitarian Universalist values call on us to care, not to stop at our thoughts and our prayers, but to actively dream of a world that can and should be, and to take action to build safer, kinder, more loving communities. The communities we dream are possible. Today in this sanctuary, first, we make space for mourning. We make space for lament. We make space for the lives lost. For all of those who died in Buffalo 2 weeks past. May we remember and for those who passed in Uvalde. let us remember that this is a choice that is being made every day, that we do not act to change it. So may we lament, but then let us act as our Unitarian Universalist principles and values call us to do. I now invite you to turn in your order of service or read on screen with me our shared Unitarian Universe. We covenant to affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person, justice, equity, and compassion in human relations, acceptance of one another, and encouragement to spiritual growth within our congregations, a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, the right of conscience, and the use of the democratic process within our congregations and in society at large. The goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all, and respect for the interdependent web of all existence, of which we are a part.
Our centering words are from Dream It by Henry Hampton. I am giving to talking about dreams because dreaming separates us from other animals, other life forms. I have a favorite line from a play I read years ago, a Chaucerian drama. The line goes, "In dreams begins responsibility." And indeed, it's true. When you dream of something, you can begin to take it upon yourself, make it yours, change it. But you have to dream it first. And the Unitarian Universalists don't dream. You have to think of the world as you would really have it. I don't mean wish it. I mean, dream it. And sometimes I think Unitarian Universalists wish more than they dream. During our centering music, if you have joys or sorrows you would like spoken aloud, please write them in the chat online or on a note card and place it in the basket I will circulate in the sanctuary to be woven into our shared pastoral prayer. We offer a time of silence during which you are invited to come forward to light a candle of intention to represent a joy or sorrow, concern or celebration in your life. If you have not already done so, you may hand your written joy or sorrow to Reverend Elizabeth as you light your candle.
And now, let us join our hearts and our minds together in spirit of prayer. Spirit of life and of infinite love. We gather together, sharing in community once again the milestones of our living. Today, we hold room for many things. Though Patty Holmes remains in the hospital, she is improving slowly. And Jacob is staying with Judith and Juanita, who are getting to have a third person around the house, which hopefully makes the cats happy. Judith and Juanita also express their hopes that politicians will take note and that change will be made. Today, we offer gratitude for a person healing from spiritual trauma. Gratitude from Callie for the time spent here in Pennsylvania with Phoenix. And a joy for a mother's birthday. Today, we hold space for all that is in our hearts, for the blessings, the beauty of the earth, the changing seasons, and the sound of children on the lawn. In times of fragile hearts, tender sorrows, may we find comfort here and strength and healing. May we be filled with peace. Amen.
At the First UU Church of Indiana, we share the plate by giving a portion of every week's donations to an organization outside of the church. This is part of our congregation's mission to promote compassionate and responsible thought and action in the world by giving back to the community around us every week. So when you give this morning, know that you are making an impact not only for this congregation, but also in the wider community through our shared giving. At the First UU Church of we have a replication. Pardon me. Our congregational giving this month benefits the Open Door, a licensed nonprofit behavioral health organization designed to provide treatment and services for substance use and gambling-related concerns, impaired driving program, and crisis intervention for Armstrong and Indiana County residents. The Open Doors mission is to empower individuals to take steps toward hope, courage, and recovery.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
We gratefully receive the morning's offering. So, lament and terror, and also circuses and clowns. It's a little bit of a wide variety of emotions that we're engaging with today. There's something that I have been talking about with some other ministers. There are certain sentences that we say in English. It is what it is, you know. In Spanish, si Dios quiere, if God wills it. Inshallah. Primero Dios. There are so many ways to say these things. They're phrases to shrug off a cognitive dissonance. One of them, from Polish, is a way of removing your investment in a situation. Nie moje cyrk, nie moje malby. It's not my circus, not my monkeys. Sometimes it's a worthy boundary to set. This one is not mine. But we live on a finite planet. We are all, and we can quibble about monkeys versus apes, but we are all each other's monkeys. When I arrived in this congregation, one of the small gifts I received, in fact, was a cup that said, "This is my circus, and these are my monkeys." And it's a statement of interdependence. It was meaningful to say, whether in this day I am the ringmaster, as sometimes happens in worship, or a carefully balanced tightrope walker, or just the guy with the push broom who sweeps up the peanut shells at the end of the show. Whatever role I am playing, what we may not be as part of this community or as part of the wider world community, what we may not be is uninvolved. We must love and take responsibility for one another in times of happiness and playfulness and clowning, and also when there is sadness and hardship, when people are ill, when terrifying things happen. We belong to each other. So in preparing for this service, I thought back to my own experiences of the circus. The one time that my parents took us, and I was most excited because I got a balloon. I kept that balloon with its tie-dye swirls. I carefully untied it so that I could deflate it and keep it in my toy box and blow it back up sometimes when I needed to have my own circus, when I needed to have an adventure or some fun, when I needed glitter and magic and colors. You see, we had a ditch out front of my house when I was a child. And you're going to say, well, what do ditches have to do with the circus? But this ditch was special. You see, it's called the Barnum Ditch. And it was dug by elephants. You know, the elephants that live in Denver, or did in the 1890s, because the Barnum and Bailey Circus used to come through and would stop in Denver between spring and fall shows, between the coasts. And so the elephants dug a 4-mile-long ditch from the Platte River all the way out to the fields far west of town, where the circus could camp for free on the prairies. And my brother and I decided that what there must be in a ditch dug by elephants was ivory and circus things and adventure. And so we went into that ditch, crawling along, seeing what we could find. What we found mostly were thistles, but also a sense that something out of the ordinary might happen. Imagination. We dreamed, and then we made adventure happen. And something we need, especially on weeks and days when the world feels hard and full of grief, are not wishes that something might be different, but dreams and the courage and imagination, as if we were children again, to make something new happen. To step outside of what has been and think what could be if we try, if we have faith in one another. There's a poem called At the Circus by Andrea Losahorsky. It says, Durov, you and your animals have made me sad. You have taught the fox and the wolf to walk peaceably beside the fowl and the lamb, persuaded the cat not to touch the mice. But why is it you, as doves flutter around you in the arena, have not managed likewise with the human beings who from the grandstands of the world circus applaud your arts of peace? Never managed to train them not to devour each other. These days, it sometimes feels that we are watching the world circus as people devour each other. And this is hard. But I know the first person I would have to reprimand, as Andrea Lisahorsky does, first person would be myself. For I try to stay aloof from this heartbreak as it happens again and again. Shootings, which I do not know how to stop. It is easier to hope someone else will be responsible. But here in this community, we are together because we feel responsible. We know that we are responsible for one another. And this is the place where we practice being human and see if we can do it better. The circus these days does not contain animals because we have realized over time that it is unkind to take animals in traveling cages too small for their bodies. The ways that this training happens were not ways that we wish to treat living beings. And so the circus has stopped. When we know better, we can do better. For 100 years, people said, this is not the way. Perhaps without hope, without imagining that the circus ever would cease to have elephants and lions and trained performing bears. And yet it did change. This could be our response to guns, to attacks on trans people's rights, or the right to choose with one's doctor one's own health care. We may not succeed, but first we must dream it into being and try. P.T. Barnum, of course, was part of my reading for this sermon as well. Barnum was a Universalist. He attended Olympia Brown's congregation, she the first Universalist woman ordained to the ministry and serving a congregation. And when Olympia Brown would say, We need some generous donors to help us with a project. She would look out in the audience and say, that means you, Mr. Barnum. I mean you. And he was a complicated man, the founder of the modern circus, a liar, by all accounts, a cheat, an opportunist, an exploiter of people with disability and difference. But he was also a supporter of women in ministry, generous with his Universalist church and with his wider community, imperfect and complex as so many of us. And through it all, he held fast to the simple truth that humanity is inseparable from the infinite in death as in life, and that no finite person has a life containing evil greater than the capacity of infinite love to hold us. So he said in the tract, Why I Am a Universalist, which he wrote about a year before his death, saying, I believe that finally every created soul will be drawn, not forced, to choose to seek. And when he chooses to seek, will be helped to find eternal life. He goes on to write of an eternal and ceaseless love, to believe that God is in our infinite best, and that we are all connected. Words that many of our Universalist congregants still use almost verbatim to describe their own faith. And he commits to responding to that love with his own good works and asks that we do the same. In The Greatest Showman, a musical written about P.T. Barnum, there is much to be desired in terms of historical accuracy. But what shines through it, what has been improved upon in the imagination, is that universalist belief that diversity and flourishing, this is a gift, that people finding their uniqueness and sharing it as good in the world is the aim of all creation and of love, which is forever more powerful than any human capacity to screw up or to be misguided and mean. It is a universalist film, which asks us to dream of the best, to find connection, to become bold in what we ask of life and expect of one another in community. This summer, this is what we are hoping to teach our youth and practice ourselves. In a clowning carnival circus summer, this is not the bread and circuses of ignoring what is going on in the world. This is a circus in which we find meaning and magic through the world, to bring ourselves back to the world with space for our feelings, trust in our community, inspiration and understanding, and yes, a bit of silliness, because we need it. In this magical, infinite circus tent that is the universe, there is every possibility. Everything that we can dream up could become and must. And so let us join the circus this summer to make room for imagination, to expand our possibilities, to lean into the stories that help us to do better to seek out adventures, to find room for joy even in sorrowful times, to find the good and amplify it, to find courage and implement what we imagine. Let us all and ever feel circled in love and respond with our own loving, joyful kindness. Blessed be. May it be so.
Our closing words are entitled Now Awake, We Dream by Elizabeth Mount. With open eyes and loving hearts, let our imaginations call us onward into a new day that is ever better than the last, into a future in which we choose to live courageously the dreams that we choose to bring to life. May we help one another to set out on our adventures into the unknown and to come back again, ever wiser and more filled with wonder. Please rise in body and spirit to sing hymn number 1021, Lean on Me. You will find it in your teal hymnal.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. And please swallow your pride if I have things that you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, well, I'm right up the road, and I'll share your load if you just call me. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong. And I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. For it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Call me, just call me, call me, call me, call me.
I invite you to join me in saying together our words to extinguish the chalice. We extinguish our chalice flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment.
This here, this world in its infinite roundness is our circus. So we are all one another's monkeys. There is nowhere outside of the circus ring or where it is not ours to hold. No one is outside of the circle of our love. Blessed be.